Well, a couple weeks ago, a guy was looking on the local classifieds for another project truck, and we found one. This here is a 1990 Toyota pickup. It's in pretty good shape, had some engine problems. The previous owner had to bin it at the mechanic. Anyway, now it's ours. So we're gonna bring you in a bit closer, take a bit of a look, tell you a bit of a story on it, and see if we can't get this old girl back up and running. So we're just taking a closer look at it now. See the front end, it's not bad for a 90. Bit of fender bender up here, but it's not that rusty. I bet you we can pound that out, make it look good. Driver's side, missing a bit of trim here. Extra cab, SE, must be the premium model. We got the chrome mirrors, so you know it'll get you home. Interior looks good. Interior looks really good, actually. Headrest is good. It's a little messed up on the driver's side, but that's not important. You should give your girlfriend the better one anyways. Seats are in pretty good shape. A little bit of a tear here that's been stitched up, but I think we can work with that. What do we got? 286 on the clock. It's barely broken in. Moving back to the box, you can see it's got some typical Toyota weight reduction. Sitting a bit low, but it's probably on original shocks, so that's to be expected. Tailgate looks decent. Bumper's definitely not original. Tail lights are okay. Wow, this one's cracked, I guess. It's not ideal. That piece is missing. Overall, pretty solid unit. Definitely not worth a trip to the scrapyard. Let's open up the back and see what that looks like. I always like to take a quick look around the whole vehicle, see what you got. Because you never know. Sometimes they just take a bunch of old parts and stash them in the back. Like we have here. Yeah. Cylinder head looks clean. Cylinder head looks rebuilt, actually. There's no cam. Oh, there's the cam. That looks pretty nasty. Maybe they gave up on it because they couldn't get a cam. We got a rad. Oh boy. So the guy I bought this from, spare tires. That's good. Spare tire jack. I don't know what that's doing there. Oh, shoot. I think we might have all the parts. We got an air filter. Looks like we got a distributor. Holy shit. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. What's in here? Water pump. Oh. Oh. That sounds a little tired. Let's go up to the engine bay and see what we got there. I get the feeling it's not much. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm expecting a lot of missing parts. Oh. You might want to take a closer look at this one. Yeah. Well, it looks like they kept everything together nice for us. I'll be honest with you folks, I've never worked on one of these cars before, trucks. It's the first time working on a 4-cylinder Toyota, because this old 97 is a 6-cylinder. You've seen me do ball joints and shocks on this in a previous video. Old 97 is actually a pretty good rig too. It's not quite as nice on the interior. Seats are a bit more shot. This headrest was completely fucked, so only got the one in for the driver. And yeah, as you can tell, the seat's a bit worse for wear, and she's way higher mileage. I don't know if you can see that. 513. Yeah, she's a Toyota though. She'll keep running. Oh, anyway, back to the old 90. Looks like we got a pretty new battery. What's the date on this? Can we see it? 1860. Serial number. I don't know. 2018 maybe. That's not too bad. Washer fluid. Looks like surface of this block might have been cleaned up already. It looks like it's just been hit with like a wire wheel. Okay, water pump, timing, all that's gone. But there's no surface rust on anything. That oil pan looks disgusting and is full of goodness. Oh, we got flywheel, or harmonic balancer, I guess. Looks like everything is mostly here. Engine's here. Doesn't move, but probably can't turn it over by hand. So I'm gonna fire all those parts over onto my trailer here, and then we'll do a bit of an assessment and see what we got. Radiator, fan, some kind of vacuum line. We got the dipstick, so that's a good sign. Looks like we got complete intake and exhaust manifolds, which is a plus. More intake, random heat shield or something. We got a rat hose, so that's good. I think we got a couple boxes left. A cylindre head. And we got a pretty dirty air filter. Hit that with some compressed air. Water pump, oil pump, we'll probably replace on those. Distributor. Wires look okay. Oh, we do have the main. That seal is crusty. Gear looks good. Yeah, looks like everything's here. We have a twisted off head bolt. Maybe this is explaining why they left it. So obviously you're seeing a bunch of new parts on this trailer too. We went with KYB gas adjust shocks because I didn't want to put Monomax on her. I just didn't think 70 bucks a shock was worth it for a little tiny truck like that. Taco's got 97. The Taco's got the Monomax though. I like them. They're pretty good, stiff shock absorbers. I wanted something slightly softer for this one because it's probably not going to be working as hard as this one. And then I got lucky. Got a camshaft on Rock Auto, which they're not sponsoring my channel, so I don't feel like I have to say good things about them. They're hit or miss. And then I found a guy on Kijiji selling a complete water pump timing oil pump kit for 40 bucks. It's for an older version of the same engine, the 22R, and this is a 22RE. Basically, that just means this one has more emissions control and electrotronics on it. So we'll see. This should fit though. They switched because probably of emissions reasons. Single row chain has less inertia, so it won't burn as much fuel. The only thing I'm concerned with about this kit is that this water pump has 5 pictures on the box, and none of them are the right water pump. So that could be interesting. Actually, on that note, I didn't see a timing chain cover in here anywhere. Maybe I'll take a second look for that. Somewhere a duck is watching. Oh, okay. She's back up in here. Oh, we got floor mats. That's cool. Oh. I'm guessing this thing threw the timing chain. That's why they binned it. Because, yeah, normally that's not supposed to be broken. Not that I've ever worked on one of these before, so I don't actually know, but... Oh, yeah, look at that. Scoring in there. I bet you the belt tensioner wore out or the guides broke and it just ate itself up. Okay. Well, there's no point in keeping this, really. Maybe I'll keep it, and someday once I get an aluminum welder, I'll fix this blown out portion, but for now it can go on the scrap heap with the rest of the Subarus. We'll probably start... Do I have a crank bolt? Oh, look, we even have a crank bolt. We'll fire that in there and see if it turns over. Because guy I bought it from said it's been sitting for quite a while. So it's possible that it is seized. Although looking at these bores, there's a bit of surface rust and like weirdness on them, but nothing that I'm really that concerned with. So I'm going to set you folks down, and we'll probably clean this up with a wire wheel, just a bit more than it already is, and then we'll blow everything out with compressed air and start firing parts on. I bet you it's going to turn over. I got a feeling. This is a good one. That's what we want. Bit of rust around the top of these ones. To be expected, sitting for a while. But not that bad, pretty clean. Oh, we should probably check the oil in the transmission. It's pretty good color. That'll probably be okay. The guy did say that it was running when he parked it. So it should be pretty straightforward. And we know it turns over, so I bet you it's just a matter of firing it back together. Which is confusing because I don't know why the mechanic didn't fix it for him. It looks like they had most all of the parts, minus the timing chain stuff. But that wasn't that expensive to get. I don't know, maybe there's a bigger issue that I don't know about yet. Hopefully not. It's kind of nice. It was already pretty clean to begin with, so we don't really have to do that much work on it. I'm really curious why they abandoned this. I feel like we're gonna find some really nasty shit when we try and fire it up. Unless the mechanic just didn't want to work on it, because... Alright, well, it took a lot of trial and error, but we figured out where all the bolts went. We basically just laid it out on the old parts and got it all lined up properly. I think this part goes on like this. There's probably a gasket that we don't have. We can probably use RTV for that. And we'll just find some bolts. So I'll have to look through my box over here, which is a bit of an issue because, well, you can see we have camshaft caps in here. We got a distributor. We got a harmonic balancer, I guess. We got sparkulators, head bolts, twisted off head bolts. So given that I've never worked on one of these before, we got our work cut out for us. We're just gonna find short bolts and hope that they're not used for anything else. All right, so we got it all cleaned up. We found our bolts in our box of miscellaneous parts. We'll just drop our gasket over, throw it down, make sure our bolts all fit, and then we'll throw it on the cylinder head. All right, so now we're gonna throw the head gasket down. It's not MLS or anything, it's just a standard normal head gasket. I don't know which way it goes on, but you can tell because of the way it is, that's obviously not right. And that's the only way it fits. So we'll throw that down, and then we're gonna get the cylinder head and plop it in here. There we go. Just sets on like that. Is there anything we can't get to? I feel like maybe we should put the timing cover on before we tighten it down. I don't know, I've never done this before. And we don't have a manual, so we're just winging it. All right, so now we're gonna do up the timing. Like I said before, this has got a dual row chain. If you hold on for a second, this is what was originally on the engine, and you can see it's a single row because there's like only one row of chain. Whereas this newer one, you can tell it's, you know, double row. Toyota switched this sometime around 85, I think, because of new emission standards they wanted to meet, and obviously this has less rotational energy than the dual row does, so when you're accelerating and trying to make everything speed up, it doesn't take as much energy to make this speed up. But they're also more prone to stretching because there's less metal, which is what killed this engine, it sounds like. So anyways, if I can find my sprocket that I put down, basically there's a key in the shaft and it'll just slide in. If you orient it properly like that, nice and tight, no play, so that's good. Grab our cam shaft, beautiful cam, and we'll just take that. Must go this way, I think. Okay, there we go. Nice tight fit. And so then this is the sprocket that your distributor will, basically it comes in through here and it runs off of this, I think. I've never worked on a distributor before, so I don't actually know. take this bolt, throw it in. Probably should have done that in a different order. This is what happens when you've never worked on a vehicle like this before. You do things in the wrong way. We probably should put the chain on before we do that. Slide her down, which way it goes on. I want to say it goes on this way. So we'll do that. And I want to say it's supposed to be timed like this. Opposites for some reason. I can't stretch it. Oh, because it's not on properly. There we go. Like that. So we have our timing mark up this way. Well, it doesn't matter. It's at top dead center. I honestly don't know if this is going to work. So, okay, we got it roughly on. Let's loosely attach our timing chain guides, and then we'll figure it out more. We might have to do some Googling to figure out the proper way for this. And of course, as you guys are learning, I don't know how these are supposed to go in. So I'm just gonna roughly go and hopefully get it in the right way. This obviously doesn't fit, so maybe the other one does. The gist of it is you put cylinders 1 and 4 at top dead center. That's 1 and 4 over here and over here. Make sure they're right flush with the top. And then you take the timing mark on this and you put it straight up here, and the corresponding timing mark here will be pointing down, so they point apart. And then you just kind of put the chain on, put the sprockets on, whatever. Right now, I'm just tightening down all the bolts that hold in the tensioner and the guides. Again, it's probably about 15 pound-feet, foot-pounds, whatever. Yeah, sounds about right. Get them all nice and tight. That's good. The nice thing about these old Toyota engines is that they're cast iron blocks. So it's really hard to over-tighten things and strip them out. Like on the Subarus, I don't know if I've done videos on the Subarus on this channel yet. I think I've done like an oil change video. Anyway, they're all aluminum blocks, so it's much easier to, we're gonna have to get a ratchet for those ones, I think. This one I might be able to do. Ratcheting wrenches, I gotta tell you folks, if you don't own them, get them. They're like mechanic's best friend, because they just fit in places. Yeah, 15 pound-feet. And then this one, ratcheting wrenches. Yeah, there we go, 15 pound-feet. So we did that one, that one, that one. They're all tight. This, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if they're supposed to be this loose, because I don't know. I think that's way too loose, personally. But like I said, I've never worked on one of these before, so you guys will have to let me know. Yeah, so we forgot to show you these. Typical Troy, autodidact, whatever. We're self-taught. We're not very good at anything, okay, guys? Chill out. Like, really. These are 14 foot-pounds, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if that's the proper sequence or not, but that's the way I'm doing it. This one's 56 foot-pounds. This is the rocker cover. Sits on top, kind of like this. Come on, slide, baby. There we go. So I'm just gonna wipe off any little grit. I might spray this down before I actually run the engine.
What would you spray it down with?
Just a bit of oil or something to basically get it a bit of lubrication, because you don't want to, before we start this thing, we're going to prime it. So we'll basically yank out the fuel pump relay so that it doesn't deliver any fuel, and then we'll just crank it over a whole bunch so that the oil pump is cycling and it's pushing oil through everything. That way it doesn't like bark off right away and run with no oil and, you know, break shit. Because it's a bit of a problem when they do that. So we're just gonna kind of drop them in. These are new head bolts. I only went with new because the previous ones, as you've seen earlier, were twisted off, which tends to cause problems with getting the appropriate torque on the bolts. Crusty. Okay, why is it so crusty? I don't know, but it is. That's kind of interesting how one of them is crusty and every other one goes in fine. Not really stoked on that. Really should have cleaned this out before I put it on. I can see down there though, so maybe we'll just... Damn, that's really good actually. In there, tight. Shouldn't be doing it this way, folks. Should have cleaned it first. I need something to stick in there. That's what she said. I think just a random bolt. So it is fine. Just scraping the sides of the hole. Because remember, it's more about circumference than just getting to the bottom, folks. Jokes aside, once you got the hole all cleaned up, everything should just fit in. If it's not fitting, it means you're probably not doing it right. Well, that's nice. You know, doing it right the first time, right? As always. That's how we do things here. That's what happens when you're self-taught. Things just, they don't go according to plan always. There's a lot of carbon in there. Blacksmith's motto, if it doesn't work, just hit it with a hammer. There we go. Probably shouldn't use that on engine components because they're like, you know, kind of precision, but fuck it, it's a Toyota. They have a reputation for reliability for a reason. And it's partially because they're built to be worked on as a farm truck, basically. They're reliable because they have to be, I guess. I don't have to use all this footage.
Mm-hmm. Loose tolerance, just like the AK-47s.
There you go. Except they're better because they're Japanese instead of Russian. They're not going to fucking invade some innocent country because they just want their oil. What? Sorry, guys.
Did that just get political?
Yeah, we might have got political. So it goes on this way again. And you drop it in here. Just like we did before. Look at that, they all fit. So I'm just gonna tighten them down. 1, 2, 3. That's actually the wrong way. You're supposed to do it that one first, but fuck it. Not really a fan of that, if I'm honest with you folks. That's a little bit weird. 5 is that you want to do it in kind of a star pattern, right? Tightening the bolts that are like far away from each other, just like doing a tire, because it makes it seat properly. If you just go like this, then obviously it's going to tighten down this way and it might not be lined up properly. That's my experience because I've mostly rebuilt Subarus, and the head gasket torque sequence changes like every other year. Probably because they had a bad batch of head gaskets around like 1990 to 2008 basically, so they were trying to fix it with torque sequences, which didn't really work. So anyway, they're all lightly torqued down. I'm going to go back, do that same thing to 20 foot-pounds, and then I'm going to go back and finish it up at 58 foot-pounds, and I'll check in with you folks when we're doing whatever we're going to be doing after that. So we're going to use this old RTV stuff that hopefully is still good. Alright, so we got the RTV all spread around. It doesn't need to be super thick, guys. It's honestly better if it's a bit thinner, because then it won't be gushing out all over the place. Gotta take that crank bolt out first, though. That's up, so it's not super imperative. Just do be cognizant that I'm not showing you the proper order of this, because you'll know that I already did the head bolts, and this has to go under the cylinder head, but above the oil pan, which might cause some problems for us. So, yeah, if you're doing this on your truck, maybe put the timing cover on before you tighten down the head bolts. which I'm not stoked on because it means the gasket is kind of already been compressed, which is a bit of a problem for sealing, but it's not a Subaru, so it should be okay. We're just gonna send it, put the top in first, and hope that it kind of works. Hammer time.
You're not gonna get it.
Is it like that bad?
It does look that bad. It looks like you're down like about almost like half a centimeter. Because yeah, it's like flush with. It's not even flush with the bottom of the pan.
Holy fucking shit. Whoa, okay, hold on. As you can see, it didn't really go according to plan, which is pretty normal for how things go with us. We ended up having to take the timing cover and try and put it on, and then take it off, and then try again, and take it off, and try again, and the RTV never ended up setting up, and we ended up quitting and basically going for ice cream. So, in the next part, I'm going to show you how many times we put the intake on and took the intake off, and then there's some fuel injector issues, and basically a whole bunch of other problems. But eventually, it does start. We did have to fix the distributor, which was another problem that we had, but that's okay. We're self-taught. The key is persistence. So I'll see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching.